Hi, welcome to today's video and thanks for joining me. Today we're going to be talking about this subject, the old age security clawback and how to avoid it. Well, this is something I know you're all looking to see because many of you who are retiring, this is one of your number one questions is how do we make sure we don't give back any of our old age security? You've been waiting a long time, you've been working, you finally get to 65 and it is just painful to see some of your old age security or all of your old age security just vanishing, right? Because your taxable income is too high and your plan isn't optimized, your withdrawal strategy isn't optimized. So today I'm going to share with you 5 ways that we help you make sure you don't give back any of your old age security. Now, before we begin, many of you are new to this channel, so welcome, but hey, why don't you hit that subscribe button? I'd greatly appreciate it. Okay, let's get into the video and why you're here today and just do a quick refresher on old age security. The clawback begins around $91,000 of taxable income. And when you hit $148,000, so when you exceed $148,000 of taxable income, you're not getting any of your old age security. So this idea of this threshold. We want to try to make sure your plan is optimized to make sure we're not giving back any of your old age security. Let's get into the 5 reasons. They're in no particular order, but I hope you enjoy them. Remember, put your comments below. I love reading your comments. Okay, first one. CPP and old age security optimization. One of the easiest ways to make sure that you don't have a clawback on your old age security is to look at when is the right age at which you should start receiving your CPP. Even your old age security can be deferred. Let me show you an example. You can see here right in the center of the screen is your CPP and old age security. And to the right of the OAS column you see OAS clawback. And from 66 to 71 there is a clawback of some of the old age security. Now that you don't want to see. And so one of the easiest things to do is to just examine, is taking CPP at 65 the right time here? So if we just looked at pushing it down to age 70, boom, the old age security clawback is gone. Now your plan might be 69 or 68. You really have to get a plan to know when is the optimal age for you to begin your CPP. But clearly just pushing this off a little bit helped us to not have a clawback in old age security. So fairly simple strategy. It just with the software we're able to do that pretty easy. And so I would encourage you to get a plan to know that. Okay, the second one is our RSP and RIF meltdown. So for those of you who are trying to understand what that means, when you have an RSP and you want to make sure you don't die with a lot of money in your RSP or your RIF, you want to start doing withdrawals. So this is all about your withdrawal strategy. So let me share with you an RSP meltdown and a RIF meltdown. You can get a sense of what that means. Here we are with an RSP on the right hand side. You can see they're starting retirement with about $622,000. And what you're seeing there, those pink negative or purple negative numbers, is money being taken out of their RSP to supply them with enough money in their early days of retirement. The plan isn't a RIF. These are just small withdrawals to help supplement the income that they need. You can see the CPP and old age security has been pushed down to 70. So one of the beginning or the starting points with doing an RSP meltdown is pushing CPP and old age security off. Now, if we can accomplish that part, step 1 of doing that, without creating a clawback at old age security, good. It's a good start. Sometimes when we push off CPP and old age security, it creates a problem later on with old age security. So in this instance, there's no clawback. So now we've got this window that you can see with the zeros of no old age security and no CPP income. Now that we can replace the income that you would have had with the pension income, we can now do it with RSP meltdowns. Now, why would they want to do this? I'm just going to flash forward all the way to the bottom of the screen. You can see that at age 90, this person passes away with $500,000 in their RSP, or sorry, rather the RIF, and they haven't done a RIF meltdown or an RSP meltdown. They just allowed their accounts to naturally convert to age 71 into a RIF, and these are RIF minimum withdrawals that you see. So you can see that someone, think of yourself right now, someone beginning their retirement with $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 is not going to get through their RIF before they pass away with a minimum withdrawal schedule. So you do need to have an RSP meltdown and a RIF meltdown if there's any money in your RIF past age 71. So let me show you an example of that. So you can see, and by the way, we'll go back. What we're really trying to do is, while we're doing the CPP optimization, we're also looking at the effective tax rate to make sure that we're not spending too much money in taxation. I always talk about taxation as an expense. We're spending money, because that's what I feel. I feel like the taxation from the government is an expense and I got to spend it. So I try not to spend as very little as possible. Okay, on the right hand side in yellow, you see that is the RRSP Meltdown. When we get into age 70, and that happens to be when we start the CPP and old age security a couple years later, that becomes the RIF Meltdown. So we're still taking money out above the minimum. And when we do that, when we're taking money out, you can see the effective tax rate. We're trying to make sure that we have a levelization of your tax rate throughout your retirement. We don't want these spikes, right, in retirement, because that you're just going to have a bigger tax bill. When you go ahead and you do something like this, you are actually going to affect how much tax you are going to pay throughout your lifetime and how much tax your estate value is going to have and how much money you leave behind. It's remarkable balance here that we're trying to achieve your goals. You might have a goal of an estate value, you might have a goal of paying the least amount of tax, so we're trying to get best of both worlds by doing an RSP meltdown and a RIF meltdown. And when we're doing that, you notice there's no clawback in this example. Even despite taking $50,000, $65,000, $70,000 of an RSP, there's no clawback of the old age security. So again, another great way to help you not have to pay any old age security clawback. TFSA withdrawals. I can't stress this enough. You need to be funding your tax-free savings account. You need to grow that as high as you can. I know you're trying not to have to pay too much money on your earned income each year, so you make RSP contributions, but you really got to find a way to build up that TFSA before you retire, because it is going to be super helpful. Now, the video right here I did a few days ago was really about how important the tax-free savings account is when you do a downsize later on in life. So let's just go through how this is going to be useful for you. So here you have an example of where we're taking CPP and old age security. We pushed it down to age 70 to create this space where when we're doing the RSP meltdown, you'll notice here that this is an example of, on the right hand side, the far right hand side at the top where it says TFSA, look, zero balance. There's no money in a TFSA. So you look at now to the left, right in the middle of the column of your screen, you see the just after the third row, 17.34%. They're actually working then, so that's their tax rate. But you see 0, 0, 0. So we got 3 zeros there, and then we start having a taxable income. And it's because of the RSP that we're having to pull money out of the RSP, because they need money in their retirement. And the only thing they've got is an RSP to retire. That's bad news. If all you've got is an RSP, you got some work to do with your withdrawal strategy. But you can see here, you're not getting any help from the TFSA, so it's heavy lifting on the RSP, and you're going to pay more tax. So what happens when you actually have a TFSA? Even a small one, like $100,000 here, look what happened. We only had 3 years of zero taxation. Look at the effective tax rate. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years of zero taxation, taking money from your RSP to help you, plus your TFSA. So you've saved so much money here, extended the life of your RSP by having some TFSA. So that is, ahead of the downsizing, but that is one of the greatest advantages of having a TFSA in your retirement, is it's going to give some relief to the RSP so you don't pay as much tax and you won't have an old age security clawback. Great tool the government gave us. Believe it or not, great tool. Okay, pension income splitting. Many of you asked, hey, David, do you have pension income splitting? Does that exist in your plans? And the answer is yes, of course we do. So let me show you how that works. This is really a great example. You see the column pension income splitting, and there is zero pension income splitting going on in this example. And then in this example, there is pension income splitting. So same client example, but now we've introduced splitting. Now we can toggle this switch on and off, because some people don't want to do income splitting for various reasons, and for those of you who are single as well. But we can also turn it on to help you save tax. And when we do, well, here's the reason. You're going to save some money. On the left side is no income splitting. the total tax between today and the end of their life, they're going to pay $512,000. This is just for the husband, by the way. And with income splitting, they would pay $437,000 in taxes. So a savings of $75,000 in taxes just by doing income splitting. So that is in every plan that we do, and we can actually show it to you live when we do these retirement plans for you. So yeah, income splitting is a huge money saver for you to make sure that you're not going to have a clawback of your old age security. Last one, fifth reason, here we go, non-registered accounts. This was one of the ones that I talked about in the previous video where we talked about downsizing. Many of you are going to be in a position where for either a need or a want, you're going to sell your house and downsize. Maybe you go to a bungalow or a condo because you just want to simplify your life. Not going up and down the stairs is too much work. In any case, you're going to downsize your house. And when you do that, you're going to get a lot of money being put into your investment account. So let's look at that example. I know it's all looks like an Excel spreadsheet, but I'll make it really easy for you. On the far right side, there's the principal residence. And you can see it begins at $2.5 million and goes all the way down to about $4 million. And this person is not doing a downsizing. And so look at the non-registered account. You can see here there's $530,000, $610,000, $695,000, goes to $1,195,000. So they're not really using their non-registered account in their retirement. Yep, one of the big things about retirement is trying to encourage you to spend your money, to give it to your kids if you've got children. But definitely keeping it in your hands. You're not doing yourself any favors here because you're paying tax on money that you're not spending, and it also affects your old age security. But this is not really a big problem. This is a problem. When you think about simplifying your life and downsizing, normal occurrence for people who are in retirement, great, simplified your life, but look on the right-hand side. You're selling the house, the downsize is you're at $2.3 million home. Downsize, you buy something for $900,000. We're not going to get into what can you afford with $900,000 these days, but still, $900,000. So to the left of that, you see the $1.4 million. That's the excess that gets deposited across your investment accounts, and some of that goes in your TFSA. Most of it's going to go in your non-registered account. And so where you start off with is 1.1 million in this example. Go all the way down to the bottom, about 3 million left over, and they're not spending their money. So what happens is, you see the far left-hand side, clawback is magically appearing. That all this money is attracting taxation, so you got to get rid of it in some ways. So in some ways, having a house and not downsizing is actually a good thing because you get to defer all that taxation because it's not taxable in your hands that you're passing for your principal residence. But the moment you do a downsize, that $900,000 downsize, that is that sheltering of that $900,000, but the $1.4 million, no longer is it going to be sheltered. It's exposed to taxation, and that creates the clawback of your old age security. So in those instances, we have to decide on what's the best strategy for you and how can we invest that money in a way that you don't have a clawback in your old age security. Well, that's the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. The best way to help yourself out is to get a financial plan done. It's not a massive undertaking for most people. It's just getting all the information to us so that we can begin developing your retirement plan and work out all these planning scenarios so that you can have a great retirement and not have to pay too much tax and keep more of your hard-earned money. You deserve it. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks, and be well.